Hello and welcome to Neat Games. This is the second episode, or fourth, of Beginner Basics, where I am going to break down the different gear that is available in Raid Shadow Legends and understanding what are the actual opportunities that are available for you in each piece. Now, I know I'm in the opposite side where I usually am supposed to be, but that's because I'm going to need you to see the filtering section of the gear so you understand what it is I'm trying to show you. So the first thing that you need to understand is that different pieces of gear have different opportunities for what is available in their primary stat and their substat. So I'm going to start with the simple ones. A weapon. All weapons can only have a primary stat of attack. They don't have the option to literally select anything else. So what's important in the weapon, the helm, which can only be HP, and the shield, which can only be defense, is the substats. This is not the case for the bottom three pieces, which actually have many more options. So if, for example, we look at the glove, we see that these are all the available options for the primary stat. Now, I understand that this looks like it's in the substat category, but it's not. This is a primary stat option. Now, what do I mean when I say primary stat? Let's say I click on this glove right here. See here how it says crit rate 6%? This is the primary stat for this piece. Now what that means is every time you upgrade a piece, this number is actually going to go up. Okay? And it maxes out at 40% for this specific item. And that's because it is a 4-star piece of gear. Now let's say, for example, I was to look at a 5-star piece of gear that is also a crit rate glove. You can see this one maxes at 50%. And if I am to have, which I don't know, a 6-star piece of gear that is a crit rate glove, this will max out at 60%. So if you watch the previous video, you'll start understanding what I was talking about when I'm referring to the importance of prioritizing the higher star gear when you can. The higher the star of the piece, the higher the primary stat will roll, and I'm pretty sure the higher the substats roll as well. The base number that they start with will be higher, and the chance to roll them into a higher number is also greater. Now, what do I mean? Let me slow down and kind of go back. The way that it works on a piece of gear, and I'm going to kind of show you a breakdown of rare versus epic versus legendary. When you're looking at a piece of gear, if it's rare, 2 of the substats will already be shown to you. When it's epic, 3 of the substats will already be shown to you. And when it's legendary, if we have anything, when it's legendary, all 4 substats are already shown to you. Now, what is the importance of this? Well, the importance of this is the way that the rolling system in this game works. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to roll this piece up. Okay? So when I roll it to 4, there is a chance of it landing either on giving me bonus speed or bonus HP. So I'm going to do it now. Hopefully it lands on speed because it's a speed set, so we definitely want it to land on speed. So standard, it will land on HP. Welcome to my channel. Okay, and then when it rolls to 8, again, there's going to be another chance for a substat roll. Welcome to my life. When we roll to 12, it's going to reveal a new bonus substat, but that means you're not getting the roll on top. So for example, if we were looking at that piece before, I don't know if you guys noticed, there was a crit rate 6-star piece. So it shows 3 substats at the beginning, and because I got lucky and it double rolled on speed, I was actually able to get 17 speed out of this one piece, which is a great number. Okay? Now, the way that it works is because there are 3 substats available, level 4 it's going to go to 1, level 8 it's going to go to 1, and level 12 it's going to go to 1. So that's the benefit of giving yourself pieces that are epic or legendary, because you have a chance to triple or quad roll a specific stat. So that's why we always want to prioritize the higher pieces of gear, because it's giving you the chance of A, getting more value out of the primary stat, and B, getting the opportunity for a triple or a quadruple roll, which could drastically impact your stat line on a champion. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the importance of understanding the difference between the primary stats. So on the glove, as we were talking about, you have the opportunity, if you want, to have flat stat HP, flat stat attack, or flat stat defense. And if you watched any of my takeovers before, on these 3 pieces, the glove, the chest, and the boots, we want to avoid HP, attack, and defense in the flat stat because you have the opportunity to do the equivalent in percentage. And the higher the star the gear, the higher the star the champion, the more value that the percentage primary stat will have for you. So you really want to make sure that you're not gearing anybody in these three pieces with flat stat, HP, attack, or defense. The only flat stat really that is okay in these slots are in the boots and the chest. So for boots, this is the only place where you can get a primary stat of speed. So that's why you'll see all of my champions have speed boots on. Because when you're using a higher star piece of gear, you're getting an additional 40, 45 speed, depending on the stars, just from the boots. And speed is everything in this game, especially in the early and mid game. So it is a big recommendation that if you're gearing your champions, that's kind of where you start, speed boots. Okay? Now, for the chest, you have similar options on the left side, but now you have resist and accuracy as well. Now, this could have value depending on the set that it's in, depending on the champion that you're building, but again, that's more of an advanced tactic. I generally recommend that most of your champions at the beginning of the game should be geared in HP and defense percentage. Even there, if they're an attack-based champion, like Royal Guard, for example, I would prefer them to have HP and defense percentage as their main stat in the chess piece. And again, we're prioritizing the higher star gear. Ooh, relentless. Because you're going to allow your guys to have more survivability. More survivability means they're going to go more in the fight, which means they're going to apply their debuffs or their big skills, which is what's going to end up having you win the fight. Most likely, a difference in their attack is not going to be the winner, but allowing them to use their skills an extra 1 or 2 times may be the differentiating factor. The same kind of logic applies for gloves. When you have the option of having a main stat in your glove as crit rate or crit damage, it's almost always going to be better than having attack percentage as your main option. So that is why I have no problem casually selling large majority of my attack percentage gloves, because I know that if anything, I'm going to build them in either crit rate or crit damage, because this applies to all champions. Whether they're an HP-based champion, whether they're a defense-based champion, or an attack-based champion, you're going to get more value out of crit rate and crit damage. Now, there are unique scenarios where attack percentage gloves are better, like, for example, a bomb champion. But again, that's much more specific and much more detailed. So let's go through the pieces and understand what the most value is. 100%, whenever you're building boots, you want to start with speed boots, and you want to start with your highest star pieces. Then you go down to the next star, and only then after that can you look for stuff like speed boots, and you pair them up with other speed artifacts to get yourself that bonus. But again, it depends on the champion that you're building and their use case. With the chest, we discussed, large majority of the time you really should be prioritizing HP percentage and defense percentage. In rare scenarios where you need accuracy very much, like on my debuffer in Arena, then it's okay to put them in an accuracy chest. Or if you're trying to keep them in a set, or if you're trying to give them that big boost in accuracy, like Coldheart, for example, needs, and we'll talk about that in one of the next videos. Gloves, same logic applies. If your goal is survivability, HP or defense is the bread and butter. If you need extra crit rate, then go with crit rate gloves. If you need crit damage with substat of crit rate, that's what you should be using on your nukers. So again, just focus on what is the most important build for your champion, and then kind of work backwards from there. And the weapon, helm, and shield are where you look for the substats primarily. Now keep in mind, in certain pieces, you actually can't get certain substats. Like for example, on a weapon, you're actually not able to get defense percentage. It doesn't gray it out for some reason, but as you can see, this literally doesn't exist. I'm on the weapon, I'm in the substat category because the main stat is always going to be attack, and I actually can't have a defense percentage or defense as the substat. I can get attack percentage, I can get flat stat attack, I can get obviously I can't get flat stat attack because that is the main stat, but I can get HP percentage and HP, I can get speed, I can get crit rate, I can get crit damage, I can get resist, and I can get accuracy. But I'll never be able to get defense or defense percentage. With the helm, you have, I'm pretty sure, the ability to get, aside from HP obviously, because that's the main stat, you should have the ability, I'm pretty sure, to get everything else. And then the shield works kind of the opposite as the weapon, which means you can't get attack-based statistics on the shield. So we can't get flat stat defense because that is the primary stat already. But we can get defense percentage, accuracy, resist, crit damage, crit rate, speed, HP percentage, and HP, but we will never be able to get attack and attack percentage. So the reason why this is so important is because when you're building out a specific champion, you can kind of use this information to your advantage to figure out, okay, what is the best gear that I can put towards getting the stats that I need, and what are the best substats that I should be looking for. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to gear specific champions and the filtering that I use to give myself kind of the base to start it out. Once you progress further in the game, you're going to have a huge amount of artifacts, upwards of 1,300 at a time because nobody likes to gear cleanse. But that's when you can use third-party tools like the Hell Hades Optimizer to allow yourself to kind of just put in the parameters of what it is that you'd like to have your champion have. Like, I want X speed, X crit rate, this much crit damage, and then from there on I want to prioritize accuracy. And you can actually build that in the Hell Hades Optimizer, and it'll put together a bunch of different builds, and then you can choose which one makes the most sense for you. But in the earlier part of the game, when you really don't have that many options, you can do it manually. You can also still use the Hell Hades Optimizer, and I will be putting together a video on how to use it. But there is nothing wrong with understanding your account, understanding how you want to build champions, and kind of get yourself familiar with this process so that in the scenario where you just need to build up a new champion that you just got, you can just say, okay, this is their skill kit, this is their skill set, I'm just going to go at it and build them with the best numbers that I can. Hope this video helped, and we'll see you next time for episode 3, where we start talking about how to build your attack champions.